Right, in this lesson we're going to look at the balance of payments. Balance of payments is a record of transactions between a country and the rest of the world. And Britain, for example, has imports and exports. It trades financial assets overseas, such as factories and oil rigs and telecom networks. And also people come from overseas to live in Britain and they bring assets with them. Well, the balance of payments has three elements to it. The current account, which is a record of goods and services, the financial account, which is a record of assets, and the capital account, which are the physical assets, such as the assets of migrants who come and live in the UK. Now, in terms of visualising what that means, one of the easiest ways to do it is to look at it as like a household. A household has spending and it has income. Someone has a job and the money is spent on food and entertainment and so on. Now, that is equivalent to the current account. However, the household will also have some assets. It might own a holiday home in the south of France, it might own a buy-to-let investment, and as a result, it's got assets, and that is represented by the financial account. Finally, the household could have its money increased by an auntie living in the attic room. And that is equivalent to the capital account. An asset is brought into the house by a third party who comes to live in the household. So this gives an idea of how the balance of payments works. So the thing with the balance of payments is always a balance. So for example, if we're fortunate and we're able to reduce the current account deficit, i.e. our deficit in imports and exports, that would lead to automatically a fall in the financial account, because the two need to be balanced at all times. If, however, the next year we found that we couldn't export anything anymore, or we had an export problem, which is more likely to be the case, then the current account will go down and the financial account will go up. And there always must be a balance. So this is the problem for the UK. We have a huge current account deficit. What's causing it? Well, imports and exports have two sides to them. The first one is visible exports, which is manufactured goods such as cars and televisions and so on. And there are also invisible imports and exports, which is things like insurance and financial services. So in those areas, in the invisible areas, Britain is very strong. However, in the visible earnings, manufactured goods, we're very weak. And as a result, we have a deficit. It varies from year to year, but has in recent years been perhaps £25 billion of surplus in invisible earnings and 60 or 70 billion of deficit on visible earnings. So this is the basic problem that we face. Manufacturing has fallen, and therefore visible earnings have fallen. Therefore the current account deficit has risen. That's led to the sale of assets. However, this could be a long-term problem. And when we talk about problems within the balance of payments, we're talking about a current account deficit caused by this cycle and how that would be an issue or might not be an issue in the long term.